Okay, you guys, let's do this. It's going to be so professional. Like, so professional. Here we go. Well, welcome to the Live Support Podcast with your hosts, Michelle Van Dusen and June Colson, a couple of clean comedians who support each other and others through comedy's wacky and winding roads. I hope you're ready. Get set. Let's go. Since podcasts have a catchy tune, we wrote this song for Michelle and June. Clean comedians are best friends too. Oh, that's so good. And you never know what they'll say or do. Here we go, sing with me on Live Support. With Michelle, who's really short. We'll have a ball. With June, who's really tall. They have fun, interviewing comedians on Live Support. With Michelle, who's really short. Now it's time to start Live Support.
The Live Support Podcast is brought to you by the Hot Breath Comedy Network.
Wow, give yourself a round of applause.
Okay, we are 30-something episodes into season 2 with that theme song, and it still hasn't gotten old to me. Like, it has
I like that little
the Hot Breath
twirl.
Comedy Network. Welcome to the Live Support Podcast, clearly on the Hot Breath Comedy Network, the award-winning podcast. I'm your host, June Colson, here with Michelle with one L, Trisha's sister, don't call me Shelly, Rhonda Corey's friend, Michelle Van Dusen. What's up, Buttercup?
I'm really thankful that you didn't say Mr. Fox's owner, because I'm not. I'm his babysitter right now. Just cat.
Yes, Mr. Fox's mother. Really, you are the mom to that cat, Michelle. We can't even. I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it anymore. It's. I mean, how many episodes are we in? We've seen the love that you have for that kitty cat. So don't even.
You mean
There.
cat?
It looks like Mr. Fox's roadkill at this point. Like, for a second, it made my heart skip a beat. Like, it's a squish cat, Mr. Fox. So Michelle's showing off her gift that I got her for her birthday, which is a Mr. Fox cat towel that I hope stays with her forever, even if Mr. Fox eventually goes to college. So, Van Dusen, today we have an amazing guest. And before we bring him on, we were talking about creative minds. We were talking about how we cannot watch stuff with just without something in the back of the mind, right? And I don't want to say critical, but we can be pretty critical people, especially like in comedy. You know, we talk about how I never laugh. I don't laugh in comedy.
You never laugh out loud in comedy at a comedy
Okay, I
show.
do. If
You are the worst front rower person ever. You do not laugh. You go,
I make myself laugh if I'm front row and it's my friends and I know the joke. I try to lead the laugh in the room, but I have to make myself do that. Like, I sit in the back and I watch and I listen, and I'm that person who, instead of laughing, I'm like, oh, that was brilliant. Oh, that was really good. You know, where really a comic doesn't want that. They want you to laugh. But when I do actually laugh, is if someone is flaming out. Like, if they are just
crash and burn. June's like, woo! That's why you married a fireman.
Only if it's my friends, though. Like, because my friends will do the same for me, right? You would do the same if I am crashing and burning, and you know I'm just plowing through and rolling. You
June,
are mentally
no.
You are blocking it. Yes, you will.
No, I have never seen you crash and burn on stage yet. So give me an opportunity to see that happen, and then we'll find out what I do. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
You've heard my epic bombing story. You would have fallen out of your seat when I got ready to leave that show, where I only had 5 minutes, and there was an elderly woman in the front row who said, June Marie. And I said, how do you know my middle name? And she said, that's my sister. And she nodded her head, and I thought it was the woman beside her. And I go, oh, your name's June Marie? And she replied, June Marie is dead. And I had to just leave and get out of it. You would have lost it laughing if you had been there in that moment.
That's not crash and burning. That is taking what's happening in the room and using it.
No, I was not.
Hilarious.
I was
Jeffrey's
not. As
dead.
soon as she said that, I said, "Thank you very much," and I left because that was right before they went. Wait a minute, that's not who we hired to be here, because the person who was supposed to be there didn't show up. I only had 5 minutes of material, and then I heard, somebody go, "How much did you pay for entertainment?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" But it was just a June bug and Jesus moment, though, because literally, like, the only way to survive it was I had to go, "Lord, you brought me here. Whatever happens, man, this
Oh.
is I guess what you wanted to happen." And I ran far away.
Well, see, I did a show at a retirement community center type of a thing, or a nursing home. I don't know. It was a little more advanced than retirement center. And one of the ladies in the front, because no one talks quiet. Children and old people don't know
Oh,
how
yeah.
to whisper.
Yeah,
They don't know how
no.
to whisper. So
No
she
whisper, no filter.
right? Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And so she leans, she looks at her friend. When's the magician gonna be on? This isn't a magician. She's not doing any tricks. She just keeps talking. When's the magician? And this
See, I would laugh at that. I would have died laughing at that.
and it was one of the worst shows, if I could even say show. I got that in air quotes, I've ever done. Is second worst. Because right before the whole thing started, there was a funeral, a memorial service for somebody, and they ran late. And so I get there and they're like, "Oh, hang on, we got to change the room around." All they did was remove his American flag because he was in the military, right? So they moved all his honors over to the side table
Oh, yeah.
and then said, "Okay, go ahead."
Yeah,
He
it's
didn't
super
leave the
fun.
room.
Yeah.
It was still there. It was like, "Oh, and when's the magician coming?" Oh, okay. So,
Do you have it in your writer now that you will no longer follow funerals? Like,
no,
that's just
I
the
need to.
worst setup
I need to.
possible.
Oh, and well, see, the other show that was really bad, while I'm performing, and it was a Christmas dinner kind of a thing for a church staff,
Yes.
the pastor and his whole family, they get up and leave. Like, they get up and leave, and you could just feel the whole room just kind of go vroom. And, just it all shut down. And so I'm trying to get, and I don't know what's happening. Well, apparently the pastor's wife's, her father died. Everyone in that room knew it except
No.
me. They were
Yes.
waiting for the phone call. So they got the phone call and then they just left. I had no idea. So
No.
it was just like, if you would have told me ahead of time, it would have changed. It probably would have changed anything, but it's still, it
Well,
was,
but that's also dependent on when you were in your career, and that, someone who's been doing comedy for a long time, you go, "Oh, okay, I got to address what's going on. I got to find out what's happening," and those kind of things,
yeah.
which is what we were talking about before, is
Yes,
like, if you're
yes.
watching another comic and something's going wrong, it is that, like, is it Monday morning quarterback or coaching or whatever, where, like, you're like, "Oh, if that was me, I would have,
Oh.
or you notice the flaws, or if the person keeps saying, "Anyway, joke, anyway,
Oh.
whatever." And I'm like, "Stop it, stop saying anyway." Like, oh,
Oh.
it makes it more difficult to just enjoy entertainment. And listen, it's not going to be difficult to enjoy the entertainment today, because we have an
No.
amazing guest. But I want to talk to him about, like, can he enjoy anything? Because he does everything, and I'm sure
He
that he
does.
has an eye. He's gonna be a master of it all, I'm sure. But that would
Anyway.
have to be really difficult. Yeah. So anyway, Michelle, tell
Anyway.
us about our amazing guest today.
Okay, so our guest today is a clean comedian, an actor, a writer, a singer, a filmmaker, a director, a motivational speaker. He's based out of Pontiac, Michigan. Unfortunately, he was paralyzed from the mid chest down in a near fatal car accident in 2011. Now, being a man of faith, he began defeating all the odds, and he married his fiance in the hospital. And he
Wow.
gained an unbelievable strength, and he returned back to what he loved. So now he's like currently residing in Phoenix, Arizona, and he's doing films and the commercials and the speaking, and he's a disability advocacy. Let's welcome to the Laugh Support podcast, Vincent Rutley. Woo, 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 woo,
He's here. He's here. Oh, Vincent. Oh, look at Michelle. Look at Michelle, Vincent. She's got the bling. She's wrapping it on. Okay, so for our
Let's
listeners,
go.
Vincent is rocking an awesome gold chain, and Michelle went out of her way to go. Maybe something she stole from her great grandmother.
Just
She's
now.
double
This was
wrapping
my
it.
mother's, but this one's mine.
Oh, now it's a competition. She's got the 3 loops around her neck, Vincent. I don't know how. I don't know how you
See,
keep
I
up
didn't know
with
we
3
was
loops.
rocking like that. I didn't know we was doing all that. You know what I mean?
Oh my goodness. Well, Vincent, welcome to the Laugh Support Podcast. We're so glad
Thank
you're
you, my
here.
friend.
So we were chit-chatting. That list of all of these things that you do, you sing, you write, comedy, acting. Can you enjoy anything when you're watching it? Anything at all?
June, Michelle, it's like a blessing and a curse at the same time.
Yes.
And I think the hardest part is that I've evolved as a creator. I've evolved as a writer. Like the way I wrote when I first started writing, I don't write that way anymore. You know, I don't stay safe, is what I'm saying. I kind of go there and put it all out there. So when I'm watching stuff, no matter if it's, you know, I don't watch horror films, but no matter if it's action or if it's drama or comedy, it's like I'm trying my best to just enjoy it.
Yeah.
But it don't really work that way. And I've just accepted the fact that it's like, yo, look, I'm going to nitpick it. I'm going to pull it apart. And it's good for me as a writer, as a creator. It makes me stronger. Like, wow, I like that, but I would have went this way. You know, why did they do that? Everything has to be intentional. Everything has to be intentional. I just partnered up with an amazing writer here in Phoenix, Arizona. And he's written for Hollywood for some years. And now he's doing some individual, like some passion projects.
Yeah.
And when we first met, he was like, hey, man, you know, I love what you do. I love what you represent. I got a couple scripts I want you to read. I want you to be a part of them. Give me your honest opinion. And I was like, don't ask me that.
Yeah.
Unless you really want my honest opinion. And I ripped them apart. I ripped the scripts apart, not trying to be rude or trying to be extra. It was just my honest opinion. He said, nobody has ever talked to me like about my work not being amazing. Like, I need you on my team. Yeah, and the guy hired me right away. I just directed his pilot for a new sitcom that we shot here. We're partners now, good friends. I owe him a text message right now. But long story short, it's the honesty, it's the transparency, it's just being real that people don't necessarily love, but they need. And when they figure out you're valuable because you're going to give me the truth, you want the best out of me, I need you on my team. And that's just how I roll, you know. So it's tough sometimes, but I want to just enjoy a good movie. And I'll be like, yeah, why did they do that? You know?
So my husband has been in the fire service. His family, his dad was a fire chief. That's like his first vehicle he set up in was a fire truck, a volunteer fire department. And I can't watch anything with a fire department doing anything in a movie.
That's not how you turn on the water.
Yeah.
What kind of uniform is that? They didn't even strap the helmet on. What are these guys?
Exactly. He's using the jaws of life and his shield's not down. He could get his eye poked out, you know, like, I mean, he literally he watches that stuff. So I can't watch anything that has like, you know, the fire department or whatever in it because he can't enjoy it because it's not true to, you know, what is real and what really happens. And I think we can get like that when you're an artist and you're good at your craft and you've studied it. You know, there are things that last year I met a filmmaker named Lamont Ferguson outside of Washington, D.C. And he was talking about just little stuff about like picking up a styrofoam cup. And yes, and I'm sure you already know what I'm talking about, but I never would have noticed this before. And he's like, it's little stuff like the styrofoam cup when they pick it up and it's supposed to be full of a drink and they're like, Foomp, and they, you know, and they lift it and they're slinging it around and, you know, whatever. And he's like,
I cannot. It's the biggest
Yes.
pet peeve. It's like you're opening a box of supposedly food from leftovers, and the way you're moving it is like, dude, I know there's nothing in there.
Yes.
Luggage? How many
Luggage.
times have you seen luggage just tossed aside? It's like, come on, people. Oh, let me
Just
help you
put
move.
something in there. Like, it don't even got to be clothes. Just put something. Put a weight. Put
Yes.
put a pillow in there. So yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So you know exactly what he's talking about. You would love to see some of my first auditions where there was like one where I was supposed to be like driving a car and arguing with my daughter or whatever. And I would go back and look and I'm like, I'm driving a car in my audition. I'm talking. Apparently, I don't know who drives a car like that, but like that was my like, I'm driving a car. I'm driving a car. And so I caught myself and I was like, oh, that was so, because I haven't been doing auditions very long as far as like recordings and things like that. And I've already caught myself like almost like the first time you go on stage doing stand up and then you go back and watch it and go, oh gosh, that was horrible. I know, like, and I watched a movie last night, pretty good film for, whatever. But the woman driving the truck was doing this. And I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done with it. I can't watch anymore. Because
she did a young June. She did a young June.
I was going to say, clearly you guys have never driven in Tulsa, because if you do, you're hitting all the potholes. So you are driving like this. So this is a real thing here, people. It's real.
Okay, so if we're filming in Tulsa, we know that's how you better do it.
Tulsa driving.
Well, let's talk. Vincent and I, Michelle, we actually met through a program called UCAC, which is was the creator, the mentor, the leader of it is TC Stallings. TC has starred in a ton of faith-based films. People probably first started to recognize him in
War Room was probably the biggest.
War Room he starred in.
Where did he play in War Room? Like, can you give me the scene on that one?
Oh, he was the star of War Room.
He was the husband.
He was the husband.
Oh,
yeah. So Michael Jr. was in that. He was TC's friend.
That was my thing. Was that the one? Was that the scene with Michael Jr. in it, and that was him?
Yes.
Okay. So all right,
Michael Jr. was trying to talk some sense into him a little bit. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. And so before that, though, he was in Courageous. That's what I was thinking about. In Courageous, he was, if you remember when the kid's like running, he was like one of the gang members and they were going to shoot the cop or something. And the kid is, the kid's like trying to run away and I think climbs up in a treehouse or something. I don't know. Watch the film because it's a really good film, Courageous. But anyway, TC, he's got this program basically that has curriculum about just living your life as an actor uncompromised, sticking to your faith, and it's a great program. But on top of that, we have a private Facebook group and Zoom together every Monday, and he just mentors actors. And so I met Vincent through there, and it's funny how someone, which is probably why you're such a good actor, someone could just jump out on screen at you, even in a Zoom conversation. And Vincent's that guy who brings this like positivity and inspiration, and just like, he's just a guy that you want to get to know. And so I'm excited that you're here so we can get to know you a little bit better. Now, I know, Vincent, you were doing stand-up comedy years ago. So let's back up to that and tell us how you got into stand-up comedy and what that journey looked like at the beginning. And if you have somebody who was there for you, that was laugh support, let's chat about them too.
Absolutely. Wow. My stand-up comedy career started 2010. I was 25. And I had done all of the stage plays in Detroit. I had pretty much worked with all of the big writers, all the big directors, producers, and I was just their funny guy, basically. I was casted as the funny guy, and I would do a show, and I would be approached after that show. Hey, man, I got a funny guy character in my play. I need you in my play. And after a while, I didn't have to audition anymore because I just kept getting cast as a funny guy. Then I'll be the old funny guy. Then I'll be the young funny guy. Then I'll be the homeless funny guy. And I was just always the funny guy. And I started doing my own productions at that time when I was like, writing. I wanted to give myself the time to just learn the culture in Detroit and just to learn the stage play production world, period, and master it before I became a writer and producer. Hence 2010, I started writing and producing, and I am the old funny uncle in my own play. And I mean, people are like, dude, you are hilarious. You need to try stand up. And I had a buddy of mine. We met at one of the local TV stations there in Detroit, and he was like a producer or something like that. And he's like, dude, I do stand up. You are hilarious. You need to do stand up. And I was like, no, man, I'm the kind of guy where I need to be doing lines back and forth with people. I need the camaraderie. I need the crowd. I need a role. And he was like, you don't. You need to do stand up. And he stayed in my ear for about a year. And I was like, all right, man, I'll give it a shot. Where do I start? He said, I'm glad you said that. I got a stand-up comedy show coming up. It's my own special, and I want you to come out before me. I was like, all right, so that's not that much pressure, He's going to be the star of the show. I can give it a shot and just give it a swing and see if I like it. It was about 4 of us on the stand-up special, and I came out right before him, and I crushed it. Like, I had never, acting was one thing, but I had never experienced that type of response from a crowd, or that type of.
Wow.
It was like I built that relationship. It was my jokes matched with their laughter, and it was like we had this relationship, and it was like I got bit by the bug, and that was 2010. It was a sold out show.
That's awesome.
And I unfortunately, another actor that was known in the city came before me, and he flopped like really bad. This is my first show, and I mean, his nickname was Hollywood. On the flyer, his name was Hollywood. So I'm like, how you gonna put me up after this guy? And this is my first. He was like, you're funnier. That's why. And I was like, bro, I'm a rookie. You can't put me up after a big dog. The big dog got up there and flopped. He came backstage, and I was looking like he was arrogant all day. And I looked at him, I was like, you all right? And he was like, man, they don't want to laugh, man. They tripping. So I was like, and I got up there and I did like 5 jokes, and they was with me. And I mean, they was on the floor, and I was like, I like y'all. The last guy said y'all didn't want to laugh. And they was like,
oh no.
And it just slipped out, I was a young comedian. It worked, and I got done with my set, and the guy was gone. He had booked it, and the crowd was like, "Bro, you ended his career." I was like, "I didn't end nobody's career. If he couldn't get with y'all for whatever reason," and I felt a little bad about it, but it was a part of comedy because I'm not the kind of comedian that goes out there and just start picking on people. I don't want people to feel uncomfortable. I want you to enjoy yourself. I want you to feel like, oh, Vince Rutt, you about to give it to us. I don't want you to feel like, okay, I got a bad shirt on today. I don't want him to see me. That was never my thing. So, but yeah, that slipped out that night. I got bit by that bug, and today he's one of my tightest buddies, Carl Crumby, out of Detroit, Michigan. Shout out to my brother. He was there. He was the one that gave me my first ticket, my first opportunity. He put me on multiple shows after that. Wow. And then I ended up just branching out from there. That was 2010. And then I don't know if you want me to go into the accident I got into that was 2011. So before I can really, Yeah,
we'll definitely talk about that. And as you said, your story about being on stage for the first time, it is one of those things where when you roll out, it is something that is indescribable because like you said, comedy is this back and forth. It's this relationship. And I think that's why it's so hard when we do bomb because it is personal. That's like you feel you are being rejected, not a character. It's not you are up there. One of the best things though that I had a veteran comedian, my first big show here in Bowling Green, a veteran comedian came in, and right before we went on stage, we huddled up, we prayed in the green room. And I will never forget the prayer, because he said, because the whole time in my mind, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going out. This is my community. I'm in front of everybody. They're going to see what I'm doing. If I. And the prayer right before I went up, Robert G. Lee said, we thank you, God, that we never step on the stage alone. And he just squashed that demon, he just squashed it. And he said, and so literally, like, now as a routine of mine, before I go on, man, if I can find my reflection, I look in my own eyes and I say, God, get her out of the way. Get her out of the way. Because Junebug, I mess up 90% of what I do. So if we don't do this right, you're going to have to take control. And I try to get out of the way, and I try to, let him lead. But the reality is that you see stand up as a solo act if you are going up there alone. Yep. But that was the best lesson that I learned, was when Robert said, thank you that we don't. And I'm telling you, that first time I went on stage like that, I literally just pictured Jesus walking every step with me, and we just went right up to that mic and did what we were doing. And if he's right there with you, then he knows if it's going to fly, and he knows if the lady's going to go, June's dead. And that's it. And I laughed and I ran to my truck and I just walked away.
June's dead.
Absolutely. I think we get to the point to where we're tough critics, period. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to ourselves, we're 3 times tougher on ourselves than we are everybody else. As far as creatives, as far as writers, as far as joke tellers. I'm a storyteller. I'm not really a joke writer. I've never written jokes. I've told stories about, just my life. I was different. I think the one thing we all have in common is that we all have a story. The one thing we all have different is that we all have individual stories. Nobody can tell my story for me like I can. So even before my accident, when I didn't have a real tragedy to relate or to compare or to, adapt, and people couldn't relate to me because I was a church boy. I grew up on the pew. I was basically birthed on the front row. My father's a pastor, and it was like, how do I make fun of my experiences without making fun of the church? I didn't want to feel like I was making fun of. I don't like the fake shouting thing and the fake tongue stuff. That's all 90s. That's old. Like, so I'm like, well, how do I incorporate my current church boy lifestyle and make it relatable, but make it funny at the same time? I was a virgin at the time before marriage. I was a virgin before I got married. And I talked about how hard it was being a virgin and how I don't want God to play a joke on me. And as soon as I get married, and as soon as I'm in the room getting ready, the rapture happens. And I'm like, I was right there. Right, she was right there. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Two. Give me 2. And it's like, and I cried laughing, thinking about if that would happen, and I put that on stage and people were like, dude, that virgin joke you do, it was just a part of something that some people could relate to. And it was like, I'm making fun of me without being blasphemous, without speaking against, the word of God, which is something I really prided myself on. So when I say clean comedian, is there's no cussing. I don't like ragging on people. I don't like, it doesn't have to be rude, obnoxious to be funny. It's just, I feel like that's one of the gifts that God gave me, is that I could make it realistic, whether I'm playing a thug or whether I'm playing, I don't know, a drunk guy or whatever that issue is, I can make that realistic without going the extra mile. And that's why UCAC is so pivotal. Pivotal is so amazing to me, because I do acting coaching too. I mentor too, but I truly believe every mentor needs a mentor. Yeah. There are things about the industry that I haven't experienced yet. So who better than connect with somebody that actually has been there and is there? So as I'm being taught, as I'm being trained, I got my students and they're like, how do you know so much? Like, y'all don't understand. I'm still a student. I'm
Yeah.
still learning. I'm still growing. And as things come in, and I'm not, the kind of person that's like, well, no, come to my class. No, TC Stallings is 5 steps ahead of me. I know if I have students that's been on my roster for 2 years, okay, no, you need to go and jump on with TC now. Like, this is a different level. Now you're trying to get from A to D. TC can handle that, not me. So I think that's the thing I love about community. Now I got June and Michelle on my team. If I need 2 comedians to fly out here to Phoenix to do a show, we'll fly y'all in and do a show.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah,
Well, I would drive.
I'm coming to
won't
Phoenix.
fly.
I'm actually coming to Phoenix.
What?
And I'm coming in January. I am. In an area outside of Phoenix as well. I have to look and see. We'll have to talk about that later. But
Yeah,
We're gonna have to
Michelle,
talk about that.
listen, Michelle, though, talk about being a realistic thug. Tell them how you can be a realistic rapper, Michelle.
I mean, she went to go grab the chain that fast. I already knew. Like,
Come on,
it was
come
done.
on. Well, yes, actually, I am in a rap video, so I'm glad you brought that up, Miss June. But I am. I'm in a rap video. It's called Back to Church Sunday.
But y'all was pulling my chain.
No, it is real. I dab and everything.
She dabs. Yeah. If that doesn't say super cool rapper, I don't know what does. You know what I mean?
Can I see the dab? Can I see it?
Show the dab, Michelle. Show him the dab.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. And it's on my stage. But I'm the coffee queen doing things with the bean that you've never seen. Okay. So when you said fly us out to Phoenix to do something for a comedy show, we're both actors too. So you might want to write us in somewhere. I'm just saying, a short, fat, round, redhead, old ginger who hates cats. And then June, the tall, loud giant. I'm just saying.
I am the Jolly June giant. That's what I am.
Song. I need that file of that song.
We'll send you. Michelle will send you in Messenger. She'll send you that clip where I'm telling you, she's
I was
good.
Crying.
Good.
I was crying laughing on your intro song. I was back here like, I hope I'm muted. I had to make sure I was muted. I was crying. I was like, because we chatted and you guys like, we got to play our intro song and then we'll get into the show. I did not. Yeah, y'all killed that.
Michelle, who's really short.
Yes. And I didn't know she was so short.
Oh, did you see the pictures? Were you able to see the pictures? Yeah.
I saw it.
Yeah. Michelle, how tall? Seriously, how tall are you?
5 foot.
She's 5 foot tall, and I'm 5'10", and I usually wear heels. So when we're standing together, I'm about 6 foot tall, and she's 5 foot tall, and we look ridiculous, and I love it.
It's beautiful.
I've never actually seen June's face.
No, she is not.
I love it.
It's highly inappropriate.
Oh,
okay, so Vincent, all right. So we'll transition into, so you were doing the stand-up comedy, and as you said, you referred to it as the accident, right? Yeah. Okay. And so you're doing this thing, you're writing, you're acting, you're doing comedy, and then tell us about what happened.
2011 was an amazing year. Things were really, really taking off. Actually, the play that I wrote in 2010, we were gearing up for my first tour in 2011. And one of the tour dates was literally November the 18th. And my accident happened in November the 2nd. Oh. So we had to cancel the whole tour. We had to cancel the whole trip. This is not just a show. These are jobs, it's opportunities for actors. I got all these people on the roster and ready to go. I was engaged. My wife and I, we met in August 2011. August, September, October, we got engaged. The accident happened November the 2nd, and then we married in December. I mean, you talking about love at first sight, tragedy, and then a love story all back and forth in 5 months. And the accident was definitely exactly that. It was an accident. I was giving my baby brother a battery jump on the side of the highway, and I had to pull out into the middle of the highway in order to face our cars on the side. He was parked on the side. So we waited till traffic cleared, and I didn't put my seatbelt back on. So when I made the attempt to drive out to do this quick turnaround, this other pickup truck came off the exit going about 80. And I didn't see them, and they didn't know I was doing my turn. So when I did my turn, it was the perfect timing for a tragedy. I mean, it struck in the side of my vehicle. I should have sent the video over, and I'll still send it to you guys. It shows the truck. It shows, the image that I should not have made it out of. But God had his plans. God knew that I would be able to endure. He knew that my body would be able to handle it, and he knew that I'll still be here 11 years later talking to you fine women about, this amazing, miraculous story. That accident should have been my farewell. Easy. But God turned it into my get well. And the moment I woke up in the hospital, the first thing I heard was the voice of the Lord said, "Don't panic. I'm going to heal you. Don't panic. I'm going to heal you." And that was like a peace. My faith, I felt like I graduated to my faith that day. I felt like God, he let me know that it wasn't a punishment, but it was my assignment. And he told my wife, my fiance at the time, in prayer, "I'm going to take him places in his chair that I could not take him on his feet." And for me, that was the confirmation. It was the peace. I didn't need a prophet. I didn't need somebody to come lay their hands on me. I didn't need people standing over me crying. I'm alive. I can think for myself. I'm still here.
Yes.
Lord, show me how to maneuver and adapt to this new temporary lifestyle that you're going to have me live in. And for me, that day, from day one, it was like I had to make my mind up. I had to make the decision. What kind of believer am I going to be? Am I going to be that guy that believes in God my whole life and reading the word and worshiping him and thanking him? And then as soon as tragedy strikes, "Oh, Lord, why you forsake me? Why you leave me?" And now I'm falling out of the faith. But it drew me closer to him, because you don't know that God is all you need until God is all you have.
Yes.
And in those times, I couldn't move. I could hardly speak. My diaphragm was weak. I was literally paralyzed from mid-chest down. The doctors told my family, prepare to take care of him the rest of his life. He's going to be a vegetable. And of course, my little mama, she's 5'1", maybe.
Oh, Michelle. Oh, she got you beat. She got you beat.
She got you by a little bit, yeah.
A little bit.
But she's so small in stature, but she's so big in faith. And she told the doctor, she said, "Thank you for your report, but we do not receive that." Like, she didn't have to say that. She could have just been like, "Okay, thank you. Hey, family, no, she's a doctor. No, that's not what it's going to be for this guy." And immediately God began to just give me, first of all, just the mindset of walking with him, rolling with him, and saying, this is not who I am. This is just how I get around for now. I got a chance to speak at the Ability Expo 2 weeks ago. And I think the most exciting part to talk about was that my disability did not change my identity.
Yes.
That's good.
I still love doing the same things. I still have an amazing wife. I still, serve God. I still love to write, act, direct, produce, sing, tap dance. I still love all of these things.
Yes.
And tap dance I might not be able to do right now, but all the other stuff,
yes,
I could do it, and it was just the fact that God gave me everything I needed here and spiritually to endure. And the accident was 2011. I healed 2012, 2013. I was back on the stage 2014.
Wow.
Back on the stage as a wheelchair actor. I'm still an actor. Now I'm just a wheelchair actor.
So is it okay to share your wife's name, or some people are private about it? So what is her name?
Absolutely. Her name is Larice Caramel Delight Rutley.
Caramel delight. Okay, Lorice. Caramel
Caramel.
delight.
Just call her macchiata for short. No.
My poor husband, when they're like, "What's your wife's name?" He's like, Junebug. that is not near as fun to say. But
Junebug.
what I'm hearing though is, which I just used Michelle's phrase because that's what Michelle always says. What I'm hearing is, so you said you all met. And
You can tap dance. I'm telling you right now, you just put those little shoes on. You could do a little tap dance with some pencils.
Come
That's
on,
all I'm
come
saying.
on.
Okay.
That
So
looks
go
more
ahead,
like
Jude. I'm sorry.
chopsticks. So
Well-
she had just met you, right? In August. You got
August.
engaged in October.
Wow.
Yep.
And then the accident happened in November.
Yep.
I have a friend who was paralyzed in a skiing accident. He and his wife were already married. And we've seen the journey that they've gone through, and that's a lot. A lot of relationships don't last after because it's there's 2%. Is that correct?
2% is the percentage that lasts after catastrophic injury.
And this is someone who could have easily said, and what person would have blamed her? You know what I mean? There may have been a few people close to you that loved you, but most people would be like, well, you didn't even really know him, and y'all got engaged quick, and this is a whole different game changer. And realistically, that she could have turned, she could have walked away, and
I wouldn't have blamed her, June.
And then here she is, because when you said the ultimate love story came back around, man, what a powerful, what a blessing you have in your life to have this woman of God who said, I love him and I'm going to stay with him, because I've seen that journey with my friend. I've seen what she had to go through, watching what he had to go through. And they had been married and had one child on the way, and had a 3-year-old. I believe their youngest, or their oldest at the time, was around 3 years old. And I saw the journey she went, and man, I'm thrilled to death to talk to you today. But I'm telling you, I'm in awe of the woman that God placed in your life. That's absolutely amazing.
She's amazing.
What a
I told her for years.
Story.
For years, I said, "Oh man, I would have did the same thing for you. You know, love of my life." But this is me speaking from 4, 5, 6, 7 years of experience living with her and enjoying her and evolving with her and growing with her. And one day I went back. I really laid in bed and I really thought about it. First of all, I'm not alone. She's been with me through the whole journey. I might be going through it physically, but she's in this thing with me. She's in this thing with me.
Yeah.
And I laid there, Michelle and June, and I had to be honest with myself. I said, would I really have been able to just stop that career that I had going on and pause all of that to physically, mentally, emotionally, financially? This is an expensive lifestyle. Yeah. And I'm not talking about Gucci bags and Jordan shoes. I'm talking about supplies. I'm talking about medical expenses. I'm talking about doctor visits. I'm talking about wounds, sores. I'm talking about muscle deterioration, breakdown, therapy. Like, this is an expensive lifestyle, very expensive. I have a wheelchair that I'm sitting in right now that costs more than all of my cars that I had before I got married. Like, it's like that. And I laid there and I said, wow. The reality is, God knew that I would be able to handle being the quadriplegic more than being the aide or the serving husband. And God knew that she would be able to be the aide more than being a quadriplegic. It was almost like it was just the perfect timing, because God knew that I would need her to get through this assignment. This is an assignment.
Yes.
And I want to pass it with flying colors. I want to be able to get out this chair, and because I will walk again. Yeah. But I want to be able to get out of this chair and look back and say, Lord, I feel like I've put it all out there. I've passed every assignment you gave me, and we won thousands of souls on my way back to my feet for your glory. It was never about me. It wasn't about me when the accident happened. It's not about me now that I'm going through it. And it's not going to be about me when I get up. I asked the Lord 2 months before my accident. I said, Lord, use me like you've never used me before. This is somebody I'm the minister of music at my church at this time. I'm playing the keyboard. I'm directing the choir, the band, the drama team. I'm doing my own productions. I'm writing, I'm producing, I'm singing. I'm doing all these crazy things. And I sat there and said, Lord, use me like you. Why did I say that? Why?
Yes.
He's already using me, but it was my heart. It was my heart for him. It was my heart for him. And he knew that I meant that when I said that. Little children, be careful what you pray for.
Yes.
Because God is not going to just give you what you ask for. He's going to give you what you can manage. And he knew on the flip side, this wasn't something I desired, but I can manage it. I can do this. And I mean, the book is going to tell every part of the story, and that's not even written yet because the story's not over yet. But my wife, I can't say enough about her. She's the best thing. And I really don't think, now that I really sit here in my adult, mature mindset, I wouldn't have been able to do what she did. This is my honest, true, I don't get no transparent, it don't get clearer than this. I could not have done what she did the way she did it. We were 25 and 26. And she said, I'm going to pause my life. Everything that I want to do, everything I desire, to take care of you and to be here with you as long as it takes. She told me, she said, this accident doesn't change who God told me you were. God told me you were my husband. God showed me you were my husband. And I didn't see this accident coming. Right. But this tragedy doesn't change who you are to me. Wow. She's been by my side, man. And she's beautiful, y'all. I mean, just
I've seen pictures.
It sounds
she
gorgeous.
Got these deep dimples. She make me want to have dimples. I go like,
it's just a fish. It's just a really awkward fishy face, Vincent.
Just so you know, dimples is actually the absence of fat. So I don't have any. I don't have any dimples except right here. So I've just couple things here. One, like my husband just broke his ankle, and I am the worst caretaker ever. There's no way that we could have ever been in the situation that you guys are in ever, because I'm like, get up, like it's so bad. I'm so bad. I'm like, you need ice? Go get it. You know where the fridge is. Like, this is how bad I am as a caretaker. But when you were talking about your wheelchair is more expensive than some of the cars that you've ever had, and so that just it caught my creative brain. Have you written any stand-up material around your wheelchair? Like okay, so if it's breaking down, you check under the hood. Like I'm just curious. Like, and is there a video of that?
There's no video. I've on stand-up comedy, you try your best to conceal your performances so that when you show up, your audience is not like, oh, he probably gonna do the one joke. It's funny, but let's see if he, no, I don't really want you to know what's under the hood, So I've gotten clips out there. And what's crazy? I have not done a lot of stand-up since the accident. The little bit of stand-up that I did, I loved it. I loved it more. I loved it more from the chair than I did from my feet, because now you got these spectators that's like, oh man, little dude in the wheelchair. What you got to say, And then from the first moment I opened my mouth, it's like, oh, no, he's not up here because because they said they want to give him a chance. He's not up here because they want to be, inclusive, or this guy is funny. This guy really got jokes. And like I said, I'm a storyteller. It's all about taking the stories of things that I've been through. I got this joke about me and my wife. I can't fight with her. I can't argue with her the way I used to, because she got to put me in the bed.
Yes.
And if I fight and argue with her, I'm gonna be like, you want to leave? Leave then. I don't care. Oh snap. Babe, before you go, can you put me in the bed? My booty hurt. I've been sitting in the chair all day. I'm sorry. Give me a hug. And it's like I can't just do this arrogant manly thing. Like she has to help me. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's funny, but it's reality as well. You know,
Right.
but we don't argue because we just figured out ways to always verbalize and always tell the truth about how we feel on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And it was uncomfortable in the beginning because it was like it made me feel a little bit more and like, you know, it's because of my accident that she feels this way, you know, but she never blamed me. She never made me feel like that. It was my own individual mindset. But the more we talked, the more we vented, we call them real moments. We started having real moments every day, and it allowed us to never build up and, you know, frustrations, to never build up. You know, I've been wanting to say this for a long time, and now it's going to come out, and it's like, It was always light, because today it's just this one thing. Tomorrow it's these two things. The next day is this one thing. And it never has to end up being 3 or 4 things at the same time. It's always, let me just get it out. Now our real moments are not even like something about each other. Now it's like, can we have a real moment? Like, yeah, go ahead. That macaroni and cheese at Odell house, trash.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, I thought the same thing. Now
Yes.
those are our real moments are funny like that now because we've had so many of them.
Yeah.
We're drained from being offended by stuff that has nothing to do with the other mate.
Yes.
You know, most arguments have nothing to do with you. The only reason why you're getting my frustration is because you're the closest person to me. And when it comes out, you're so close, you're going to hear the frustrations. You're so close, you're going to get the laughs and the hugs and the kisses, but you're going to get the tough stuff too.
Yeah.
So we've had so many venting sessions. Now it's just like it's all out, and now it's just regular conversation. And yeah, we don't fight. We don't do that. And we made up our minds early. Like we don't talk to each other like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not how we operate. Like it don't feel good to know that you're hurt and I did that. You know, it's one thing for you to come home and say, guess what such and such did? It's like, okay, well, babe, this is a different perspective. But when I did it, it's like it hurts 10 times worse. I can't eat. I can't, sleep. So it's like, let me make sure I don't do that again. And we approach it and we do it differently. So we've grown and evolved to just be able to love one another all day long.
Well, we literally learned that you can't sleep if you hurt her because she ain't putting you in bed. So
I got this big old pillow. I'm either gonna be sitting on the side of that bed.
Yes.
Or I'm not gonna. No, she'll never do nothing.
No, listen, Michelle. I think if the podcast had a laugh supporter of the year, we would do the trophy for Vincent's wife because what an amazing and powerful story. Everybody's story is important, so we haven't rewarded or given an award to anybody, but I definitely think that it is definitely one of the most powerful supportive stories that we've heard since we've been doing this podcast for 2 seasons and probably close to 70 guests at this point. And I told you, Michelle, that you were going to love him and he's absolutely fantastic. What do you think?
Yes. I concur. I think it's fabulous. Say your wife's name one more time for us, please.
Larice, I call her L.A. Rice, Larice. Larice. And speaking of laugh support, she's hilarious too. But
that helps.
The biggest part of the support is, as an actor, I want her to act, right? Because she's so good, but she's like, no, that's not my lane, it's your lane. And it's like I'm not gonna thrust her and push her and bother her and bug her to do something she doesn't want to do. She supports everything I do from the wheelchair. She's like, go do comedy, go do the movies, go write, go produce. And it's like, that's the support. As a quadriplegic, some wives are like, oh, I don't know if you got the strength to do all of that. Or are you sure, you can be sitting on set for 8 hours. My wife is like, let's get you a set bag. Let's create a package, a care kit for you on set. So when you're on set all day, you got your snacks and you got your little eye drops because your eyes get ready. Like she details everything. And she's been like that from day one.
Mm.
I've had crazy ideas. She's never said no. I've released music since from the wheelchair. I've done I did my stand-up comedy tour in the chair. And she was like, it's crazy, but let's do it. This is what you do. And her purpose has been locked in to my purpose. It's not that she doesn't do the things she loves to do. We're actually starting companies for her right now. And it's because she deserves that. She deserves to be able to go out and do her passion projects and the things she loves to do as well. But she has been the greatest support system I could have ever prayed for. I couldn't have found her 1,000 years on my own.
Mm.
Wouldn't have happened. Wouldn't have searched this world. Yeah, I'd have wore these wheels out of my chair, but I wouldn't have found it.
Mm. Well, speaking of your music, I was listening before you came on. I was listening to the song that you have on your website. And Michelle, if you don't mind to scroll across the bottom of the screen, the way that people can find Vincent, but on your website, you have a song called Miracle.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
sorry.
I can tell you that I've listened to about half of it because I'm in that, like losing my mom a few months ago. I'm in that, like, well, I'm fine unless I hear a good song, and then I'm not okay. So I press pause about halfway through. But I can't wait to listen to. I was like, oh, I can't be crying when we interview on the Laugh Support podcast. But it's a beautiful song.
Thank you.
And everything that you do, you definitely do with excellence. And
you.
it's really exciting to see the directions that God's taking you. We definitely want you guys to check out our friend Vincent at his website. It's Vincent Rutley, and it's RUTLEY.JimDufree.com. That's VincentRutley.JimDufree.com. And then you can also catch him on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. It's Vincent Rutley on all of those platforms: TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And I know you've got upcoming projects. There's so many things that you have on the horizon. Can you tell us about maybe one thing that you got coming up in the near future that they should be watching, following, and checking you out?
Yeah, I mean, I've auditioned for some really, really, really big stuff lately. I'm signed with Leighton Agency here in Phoenix, and I'm also signed with KMR out of LA. KMR is amazing. They're both amazing, and they both cater to disability actors. And the branch that I'm signed to at KMR, they book only disabled actors. I'm talking about that's what they sign.
Yeah,
been with them for a year, and lately just been doing a lot of projects. I've directed and acted in a TV series pilot that we're gonna be submitting over to Hollywood within the next couple of months here. It's called Beans, and so it's about a coffee shop, and it's almost like Cheers meets Friends, but and it's not a sitcom, but it's a TV series. You know, so it doesn't have the laugh tracks and things like that. It's live. It's it's on location. That was a great project. So we're working on that one. I just got pulled in to co-produce a cowboy movie. Actually, it's called.
Well, yeehaw, y'all! Come on now.
I hear that twang, that country twang. Gonna have to get my friends June and Michelle.
There you
Cowboy
go.
I used to ride all the time, so
really,
but not Western. I was an English girl.
They had a little horse.
Yeah,
the miniature pony. Saddle up, chick.
Ponies, just FYI, are the most ornery things that you can get on the back of. They're worse than mules. I'm just gonna put that out there. Ponies are horrible little things. No, I used to do hunters and jumpers, and I used to groom, and I worked for an Olympic horse rider for a while, or Olympic equestrian, I should say.
Nice.
Yeah, I grew up riding horses. I haven't been on one in quite some time though. But
Nice.
so we can do it. I'd love a good pair of boots.
I agree with you, because my first experience with a horse was a miniature pony, and I was 7 years old, and they put me on this miniature pony, and it took off, and I was holding on to the rope, and it was just dragging me around the dirt. I wasn't
Your
caught
feet
in the
were
rope.
dragging.
I was just hanging on, and I remember hearing everybody go, "Let go, Junebug, let go!" And I got up, and there was like mud in my teeth, and it was awful. I did real good, y'all. since then. I got over my fear when I was
Oh, good.
older and got
Good.
on real size horses. But my
Good.
first experience was not good for me, but hilarious for my family.
I was gonna say, I hope you was able to get past the situation, because that could be scarring.
Oh, it was, I had issues for a while. I did. I had issues.
For a little while.
Vincent, for a long while. Thank you, Michelle. Vincent, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank
Again,
you.
friends, we want to remind you to check out all of Vincent's social media pages, and
Right.
also check him out on his website, vincentrutley.jimdufree.com. Michelle's going to kick you to backstage, eat some snacks, whatever you need to do, but hang out for just one moment so we can properly say goodbye to you, Vincent. Thank you
All
so much.
right. Thank you guys for
here.
having me. I appreciate you.
Awesome. All right, Van Dusen.
Whew.
Wow. You little bucking bronco.
You just beat on the back of a pony, and I could just see your feet just dragging
Oh, it
along.
was ridiculous.
Well, it was just
There was
you in
like
the back.
my whole family was there, the entire family. It was my dad's friend had a miniature pony farm, and like my cousins came. Everybody was there to witness my fantastic equestrian skills. So it is equestrian,
man.
right? Is that the word? I don't know.
It is. Yeah. I've had a horse while I'm on it go down and then start to roll. So you have to get off, like, when they bring you down to the ground, you just got to jump off at that point. Yeah. Crazy stuff right in the mud instead of just, so much stuff.
Oh, horses. Oh, horses. Bunch of horses. All right. Listen. It's been a fantastic interview.
Oh, since we're talking about horses, and I'm just putting this up there, my sister, she works at a horse barn, but it's one of the therapy barns. So she has, she teaches there, and so kids come and adults. She's
Awesome.
got different lessons for different groups. Yeah, so she does therapy horses, and also my niece, who's in Texas, she also does therapy horses, and my sister does it in the Chicago area, and my niece does it in the Texas area. Just
That's
FYI.
super awesome. Your sister Trisha, right?
That's
Trisha?
correct.
Have we mentioned Trisha this episode? I'm so sorry if we missed that.
Yeah.
Trisha, we love you. We love you, Trisha. All right, so that's it for this episode of the Laugh Support Podcast. As I always say, Jesus and Junebug loves you. And Michelle, tell them goodbye.
I'm going to say goodbye. Thanks for listening, and make sure you check out our next episode also. Bye.